2026 is almost here and it's time to get our budgets in order. So I'm super excited. I stayed up a little bit late tonight because I wanted to talk to you all. I wanted to talk to you all about my realistic budget prep for 2026 as a solo mom. So I have been doing my budget prep for 2026. I have been doing it throughout probably the last month because I want to start January 1st fresh with my budget intact. And more importantly, I want to start it before 2026 because I get my last paycheck from work as a teacher in December and I don't get another one until February. And a lot of times that scares people because they're like a whole month and a half without getting a check. And it's really not that bad, but I plan ahead. This is something I've always done. I'm really into budgeting and I don't always share it here. And I kind of want to share that more as we go into 2026 because it is what helped me buy a home as a single woman. It is what helped me be able to afford, a child as a single woman on one income with no extra child support or anything like that. And it is how I managed my finances to be able to get a new car. So I really love deep diving into my finances and making sure I know where my money goes. And the thing about budgeting is I know a lot of people feel like budgeting is really scary or budgeting just means you're limiting yourself and you don't get to spend anything. And that is the furthest thing from the truth. I budget my finances, but I enjoy spending a coin. I'm not even going to lie to you. And so I budget so I can manage my spending and see where all my money is going and be like, okay, girl, slow down. You're doing a bit too much this month and just things like that. So yeah, we're not going to do the numbers and talk about my financial goals and my budgeting goals and any of that. We're just talking about the things I've done to prep, things I've done in the past, things I've done right now, and how I'm going about doing my budget in 2026. And so I'll pop a picture up on the screen, but I have been using the Co-Plenty spreadsheet. It's the 2.0. Is it the yearly 2.0? Yeah. The Co-Plenty yearly 2.0 spreadsheet. And I really, really like this one because it breaks each month down and it's just a fancier way of what I was already using. It is so much more fancier than what I was using. The one I was using before this, I've tried pencil and paper in a little budgeting little notebook, which I liked because I love writing. But at the same time, the tallying, this does it for me and I don't have to do all the back end. And then the one before that, I was doing digital. And it was one just that my friend had made when she was helping me learn how to budget and prep for buying my house. And so that's when I fell in love kind of with the digital. And then when I found this, I was like, oh, this is the high end version of what I was already doing. So totals everything up, shows you percentages and where you're spending your money, and it tracks it beautifully. So that is what I use. You can use whatever. You don't have to go as detailed as I do, but it is just something that I enjoy. Doing my budget at the end of the night and typing in and seeing where my money goes literally makes me happy. So the first thing you want to do as you're prepping for your 2026 budget is you want to look at 2025, which is why I love this spreadsheet because I can go in right now and look at my budget. And if I go to the totals tab, it's going to tell me how much income I brought in, what my total expenses were for the year, and in what areas. So with subscriptions, I can see how much I spent with subscriptions all year long. I can see how much I spent each month compared to the money I was bringing in. But even individually, I can see little things like how much I spent on gas this year, how much I spent on electricity. And funny enough, on electricity, I spent $866. So that's just kind of good to know where your money went. Now, if you don't have a spreadsheet to look at, what I did to actually get started with this process is I looked at my bank statements. And I'm like, okay, let me see where I spent my money. Most apps on our phones now, our banking apps, have this so you can look there. But yeah, just track your money or even just look at 1 month and track and be where did I spend all my check? Where did it go? Because that can kind of help you decide how you're going to set up your budget. So your next step, after you've reviewed your spending and tracked it and see where you spent your money, how you spent your money, the next thing you want to do if you have already been tracking your finances is to see what worked and what didn't work. what you liked about your spending, what you didn't like about your spending. Something I like that I did, but I want to actually improve on is my sinking funds. And if you don't know what sinking funds are, it's literally putting money aside for a future something. And so you may not like need that money right now, or you just kind of want to rack up. And then if you need to pull from there, that like money is for that. For example, home. I put money aside each month for home maintenance. If anything were to break down, I have this money set aside specifically for home. And if I needed to purchase something, like for example, I know that one of the things that's going to come out twice a year is they're going to come out and do my RO system, switch out my filters, and it costs about $60 each time. So I put money aside so that I had $120 saved up. It was a small amount, but you can do more than that. I also did like my HOA fees and my investment fees and maintenance for my car. Things you know you're going to have to pay for, but you don't necessarily pay for it every month. That's your sinking fund. And so I had at least 4 to 5 sinking funds that I feel like I did really well with. And then I feel like I could have added more sinking funds and had less categories where I was like dishing out money every month to that category and then not needing it, because then I could have used that money towards like saving for something else. I also felt like I was like over saving and then pulling back out of my savings because I was like, well, dang, I don't have any like play money left because I've tried to save it all. So there's some little ebbs and flows, and you're not going to get your budget perfect the first time. Like it is trial and error, figuring out what works, what doesn't work. So yeah. One thing I do know that I also liked that I did was I had this little notebook. So I am not completely like an envelope stuffer. I am very intrigued. I love watching other people do it. Back in the day, I definitely did it when I was a waitress because I worked based off of tips. And so I would have like an envelope for certain bills, and like I would put the money in that envelope, put it aside, so I know that that bill was paid for. I got this off of Amazon a couple of years back, I think. And it just has the little tabs. I liked doing this, and the only reason why I stopped is because I realized with groceries and gas, I was putting the money in here, and even like my spending for my eating out, but I was missing the points on my credit card. So what I started doing is I just left the money in my checking account and would swipe my credit card and then pay the credit card at the end. I think I want to go back to using this though, because seeing the money here and not seeing it in my bank account does not make me like, it pushes me not to spend it. So yeah, that was something like I started off really strong with doing, and then I kind of stopped. But what I did hold tight to was, like I said, my investment and my HOA fee. So right now, this is all the money I'm going to need to put into my account for my investment and my HOA fees. And I know some people are like, girl, why didn't you just put that in savings? Because I would have spent it. I know me, and I would have spent it. If I saw it there, I would have spent it. And when I do it like this, I completely forget I have it. I completely forgot I had this money. And my mom was like, hey, we need to pay our investment fees. And I was like, I have that money sitting in my envelope. So yeah, I really liked that. I like the idea of seeing it, touching it, knowing it's there. I did not do that with every single thing though. So like right now, I have a little amount for my car and maintenance fees. So yeah, sinking funds are lifesavers. I love it. And that money's actually like going to be rolling over into 2026 because I didn't spend it. So yeah, looking back over like my past year of spending, looking over, you know, where I had high spending and low spending, I'm actually really proud of what I did. Now, can there be some improvements? Yes. But overall, I'm really glad that I was able to track it and see where my money was going and even how much money I was making. Because sometimes you like spend it so quick, like you're not even really realizing how much money you're making and spending. So something I will say that I realized is that I was spending a lot on unnecessary bills, which led me to what my next step was in preparing for my budget, y'all. I have already started calling and lowering certain bills, calling and canceling subscriptions that I forgot about. I did not realize that I was paying for things like Hulu and Disney and things like that, you guys. And it was a part of my cable if I just would have set up the account. So I was wasting money. So some of the things I did was I canceled those. And so I have my streaming free because of my cable. I called and lowered my insurance payment. I called and paid off my Vivint security equipment. You guys, I did not realize that I was still paying because it was being automatically drafted, and I saw it, but it didn't really like click that I was paying a bill for my security and then paying a bill for the equipment. And so I called, I was like, can I just pay the equipment off because I am wasting money with you charging me interest for paying this off. So I paid that off. A couple of other things I want to do is just call and see about like my cable bill. Like, can I lower it? Do you have a lower plan? I, in the past, switched my electricity bill because I'm like, I'm not getting the most out of what I'm using. So I switched my plans to fit my lifestyle better. Just simple ways to like lower your cost. So now that I've done that, moving forward, I am using my spreadsheet and I'm going in and I'm going ahead and adding things to my spreadsheet and reorganizing my different categories. So like I want to have more focus on my sinking funds and less on just random spending. So what my spreadsheet would look like if it was filled in, it's not completely filled in. When you get the yearly 2.0 spreadsheet, it is completely blank and you have to go into the annual totals tab and add in your income. So however many paychecks you get a month, I only get paid once a month. So I just have one place where I'm getting paid, and then any like miscellaneous funds or like, you know, my side hustle money that comes in. If I pay myself from that, then I will put it in here. And then I have like my fixed expenses, those bills that are not going to change. My insurance, internet, security, cable, water, electricity, all of that. Gas, all of those are in there. My subscriptions, I have one subscription at the moment, and that's just because I'm no longer sharing my Netflix subscription. So that is the only one that's going to be coming out, and I don't know if I'm going to be keeping that. But yeah, and then I have my variable expenses. I have groceries, dining out, fuel. I do have a category for home, but I'm also going to have like a sinking fund for home just because I feel like there's always going to be something that needs to be fixed in my home. So I'm still kind of playing with deciding how I want to do that. But this is just to give you kind of like an idea. In the past, I had two categories for Cole's clothes and my clothes. I think I'm going to change that up. Of course, tithes, honey, I tithe regularly. Health and medical, beauty and personal, entertainment. Those were the categories I had previously. And so I had those categories, and what I actually ended up doing, I put that into chat and I kind of told it the direction I wanted to go this year. I told it, you know, what my goals were for the year as far as finances, what I spend typically like on all the different areas, and where I wanted to adjust, like how I want to do more sinking funds and just miscellaneous spending and just having categories to have categories so I could say that I have money there to spend because I don't necessarily need to spend it every month. And I kind of like mapped out in there, like, this is how much I have to spend each month. This is how much I want to spend. This is how much I want to save. I threw it into ChatGPT and it gave me new categories and kind of broke down my expenses for me. It's like, you can spend this much here, and you would still have this much left over to save. And I feel like that was so beneficial because it took all of the thinking out that I was doing and trying to manage and figure it all out. Like, it realistically looked at my stuff and was like, girl, this is all you got. This is all you got to work with. Stay in this lane right here. And so I love that. So if you're kind of having a struggle, just give it a ballpark. Be like, I have $100 to play with and I need to pay for this, this, and this. How should I spread this out? And even with my sinking funds, I'm like, okay, I have this set amount of money left. I want to divvy it out into my sinking funds, and this is how much I want to do. It did it. So yeah, play around with ChatGPT. Let it help you out with your budget if you're a little bit confused. But it did adjust my variable expenses based off of what I said was important to me and my goals. So now this year, I'm going to have groceries and household put together because I was like buying home items while I was buying my groceries. And then I would get frustrated with myself if I went over my grocery budget because I'm like, dang, that was not in my budget. And it wasn't that serious, but in my mind, I'm like, why did I spend so much money? And it's because I was buying home items and grocery items. And so I put that category together, added a little bit more money to it. So now it makes more sense in my head. gas and transportation, beauty, personal care. I just did one big category for Cole and his expenses because he has like T-ball expenses and all his sporting things, expenses for school, outings and experiences. I want to do more fun things with my son this year, and so I have a category for that. A category for eating out, of course, because it's gonna happen. Category for entertainment and fun, and that is it. And then I adjusted my sinking funds. One thing I know I did not do well was add money to my travel sinking fund and add money to gifts. Gifts are what killed me. Going to birthday parties, Christmas gifts, just random gifts. I did not put money aside each month to plan for gifts ahead of time, to plan for birthdays, and that killed me. So that is one of the sinking funds I added this year. So yeah, if you're a little confused, talk to ChatGPT, tell it your goals, tell it what you have to spend, what you typically spend each month, and it will work it out for you, friend. I promise you. So this right here is just the process I went through, the prep I did to get ready for 2026, to realistically plan out my paycheck, because I truly believe in stewarding my finances. I don't feel like my budget confines me and doesn't let me spend. I literally put a category in for the things that are most important to me, like hair and beauty. I put money monthly in there. And something I did before is if I don't spend that money, say I put $30 aside for beauty that month. If I don't spend it, I just roll it over to the next month. And so if I had 30 and I put 30 more, it's like a sinking fund. Now I have 60. If I don't spend it, it just keeps rolling. Something I'm going to do a little bit different though is if I don't spend it, I want to save it. I want to save more this year. So whatever I don't spend is going automatically into my emergency fund. But this prep is just the foundation. It is going to make my 2026 so much easier. I am basing my budget and my financial goals, my savings goals based off of facts and looking at what I really can bring in. I think it's so important to manage your finances, to know where your money's going, what money's coming in. And most importantly, I believe it honors God. When we're not just overspending because we can, when we're wisely looking at our money and investing. And I'm not telling you how to spend your money and invest it, but knowing what you have coming in and going out, I feel like is the best way to honor God with your finances, to steward your finances. And so that is why it's so important to me. That is why I enjoy knowing. And sometimes I just sit in awe because, like I said, I am a single woman, one income. I have a home. I have a toddler that I take care of. And it baffles me to this day that I was able to pay all of my bills and pay daycare sometimes. I'm like, God, and so it just makes you look and be like, dang, the Lord stretched that money. And not only did he stretch it, he taught me how to stretch it. And so, yeah, if you enjoyed this video, if you like talking about budgets, make sure you leave a comment down below and let me know what you use to budget, how you budget. I didn't do exact numbers and talk about my goals for my finances because I'm still trying to lower some bills, trying to figure out where I can make some things go down so that I can save more money. So in my year-end reset video, I do plan on getting more into the budget, more into my finance goals, more into about my savings goals, if I hit my goals, different things like that. But I just wanted to lay the groundwork. I just wanted to share because I know some people, they don't even know where to start with their budget. I will tell you, I knew my mom saved money. I knew my mom, was a couponer, and my mom will get a discount whenever she can. But I never knew how much my mom had in her savings account. I never knew her to budget her money. She just knew what was going out, coming in, and that was it. And so I had to learn this work on my own. Nobody taught me, straight off until I had a very good friend that was like, girl, this is what you need to do if you want to buy a house. This is what you need to do with your money if you want to prepare to make these purchases. And I was so grateful for her for that. So yeah, that's why I wanted to do the same with you all and just kind of show you where my mind is as I'm getting ready for 2026. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video and I will see you all in the next one. Bye guys.